Hey y'all, this is Church from Church's Intake. So let's get into another topic. Let's talk about independence. Being an independent, contractor, or having independence in your life, being a owner, being, self-reliant, things of that nature. So I've been on this journey for a while now, and while on this journey, I've learned a lot of things. Um, and it's not an easy journey doing the independent thing, being a content creator or whatever. For some folks, that's their independent, job or contracting job or whatever they want to call that. Being a business owner, that's independence, starting your business by yourself and then trying to eventually grow in that nature. Learning to be self-reliant without, asking for help from people like friends, family, relatives or whoever, you used to depend on, being, independent, non-dependent on anyone else but yourself. And obviously, the best way of achieving these goals or doing this is be with yourself and with God. You can't do none of this. Get to these levels of independency without God, especially if God is pushing you and moving you to a way that He wants you to be more independent in Him. Like some of us have great families, that function very well. They work together, they help each other out, help each other grow on that notion. Like that's cool and all. But sometimes God wants you to go a different way. And the path that He has you going is more so He wants you. He don't want the rest of your family to do what He wants you to do by yourself. And some people, when they get this brought up in their life, when it comes down to it, it's like certain things that transpire in your life, right? And like if you got a relationship with God or you're trying to build a relationship with God, there's certain things that start to happen, and it comes to a point like, hey, I want you. It's like the conscience starts telling you like, yo, I think God wants me to do this by myself, or I think God wants me to just separate from these people because they're not thinking the same way I'm thinking right now. They're not trying to achieve the same goals that I'm trying to achieve right now, and they might be more of a hindrance to me than a blessing to help me get to the level that I'm trying to get to, or to the goal that I want to get to. So certain times or certain situations come up in your life, and God will show you like, hey, I want you to do that by yourself. I don't need no one else's help for what I got you to do. And some people can take it and go with it, and will achieve greatness, and others won't. Others will be scared, you know not willing to go outside of their comfort zone. And then down the road, life situations start to happen, and God wanted them to do a thing to grow, and then they're mad at God because they're not growing. But God already put them in position to say, hey, take up your cross and follow me. And they didn't really want to follow. They went on their own understanding instead of God's understanding. Instead of, just believing and having faith. Or, stop worrying about where they're going to get their mammon, their food from. You know, like if God's telling you to follow him, obviously he has a plan for you. You can't see all the things that's going to happen until you start walking the plan out. You know, like it's like, you know, just like some of the disciples, you know, when they were in the boat, Peter came out, hey, walk. He was able to walk until he thought about a situation like, yo, this is water, dog. Like, what's going on? But that's the whole thing. People you want to know the end game before you even get to moving and everything else like that. Like, God's going to show you the game as you keep on playing. You got to keep on walking in faith, moving in his way, and he will keep on opening up doors and situations and things of that nature, you know. That's where the faith comes in. That's where the miracles start to happen, is when you start to move without thought, without your understanding, because your understanding only will get you so far. It will actually block your blessings from coming in, because we're not God and we don't think as he does. So there's so many different things that God showed me in my journey, you know, things that I could share, other things that I can't share, but these things would never have transpired if I didn't walk with him and let him show me how he wanted me to pursue certain things. And then other people be like, oh, you had it so easy. It's like, no, I had it hard. My faith made things easier for me, also God, but it's not easy when you don't know what's going to happen, when you're in the unknown and you're doing this journey in the unknown, trying to be upright and trying to keep the faith and trying to keep on progressing when, you know, this, that, and the third is coming up against you. You know, like life be lifing, and you have to navigate through life. Yes, it'll get better, but it's always going to start off rocky when you first start. And then when you see like the people that it's gotten better for, oh, they ain't go through nothing. They don't got the same situation going on. And it's like, shoot, I can tell y'all so many things that y'all never went through in life. And I hope that some of y'all never have to go through certain things that I went through in life. And not to brag or boast about it, but I ate it. You know what I mean? I'm built like that. I'm built for tough, you know what I mean? I'm built to handle chaos. I'm built for that. But I wasn't always on that. God built me. God made me stronger through trials and tribulations. That's why I got tough skin. That's why I'm strong. Going through the fire, not avoiding it. If I avoided all of these certain situations that I know that certain people had went through when their trials and tribulations, like I know, shoot, I can read people's trials and tribulation. I can be like, yo, a person could tell me a situation that they got, and I'll be like, oh, dang, I don't think that person knew that he was in a trial. Like, he didn't know that if he had did this instead of that, he probably would have had a better outcome. He would have been stronger. Like God was just testing him on that. And it's like when you build with God and you have that relationship with him, you start to realize what things are tests, what things are, you know what I mean? It's from witchcraft and from another person. You start to learn a lot of different things of how this earth and this world operate. You can know, like, if it's a test from God, or if it's a test from the devil, or if it's just a hater coming up against you. There's so many different tiers that people be like, nah, that person always. It's not always them. It's not always the hater. Sometimes it is God growing you up, showing you. Like, sometimes you'll fail a test and it's meant for you to fail the test, so it's going to strengthen you to be better. So when you take the test again, it's like, oh, I know why, God, you wanted me to not take, just enough or just barely make it. And I'm asking you, like, just barely push me through so I'll be good. And God's like, no, I need you to be great in that part. I need you to be great with what I got right there for you. Like, in this achievement, in this goal I want you to have done, I need you to score 100. I need you to be flawless. I need it to be a flawless victory. I need you to know the ins and out of this part. There's certain parts that God will be like, yo, all right, I'll push you through that. And then there's other parts it's like, nah, I need you to know this. I need you to know this top to bottom. And then that's what it is. It's like certain things that you have to go through to achieve certain levels of greatness that you have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to go through the fire. You have to be forged. You have to accept some of the failures. Like, some of the failures aren't failures, it's growth. Like, everybody be like, oh, I didn't pass this test or driving test or any of these things, like certain things in life. And everybody's got different things that they have to get through in life. Like, everybody's test ain't the same, just like everybody's career is not the same. You know what I mean? There's different tests in everybody's life. But there's certain parts of your testing process that you have to supersede expectations, because what God's going to put you in, you're going to need that extra. You're going to need that extra strength. You're going to need that extra knowledge so you can surpass whatever enemy or entity or whatever is coming up against you. Like, nah, I know what I know off top because I went through, I learned the back, the front, the ins, the outs of this, like learning a business, you know what I mean? Like, being a contractor as well and working with subcontractors. This, for instance, I can just throw this one out there. Working with subcontractors, everyone has different, different energies. Let's say that. Different energies. Everybody's got their quirks. Some people operate, some people are mad. Some people are happy-go-lucky. Some people are just talkative. They just talk so much, and like different things. You got to deal with different people that's got different traits in their day to day. Like, some people are just like lazy. Some people are just like they're easily persuaded to fool around and not get stuff done. But if you're a true leader and you know how other people operate and you've been around a lot of different folks, you start to realize how to maneuver around them or be able to make them achieve something that they thought they probably wasn't going to do for you or whatever. You be like, nah, I know how to talk to this person to get them motivated to do something for me or to do something for themselves for the most part. Because if you're a good leader, and you're working with different people, you're really trying to encourage them to do these things for themselves. You start to talk to them in a certain type of way. Like, there were some people that I used to work, have worked for me in my business. And, I wouldn't judge. You can't be judging everybody. Everybody's got, like I said, their quirks, their screws and stuff like that. So certain people, and this is in the work field, people don't realize this, like certain people need their fixes to achieve the work that they're trying to accomplish. Like a person that drinks a lot, a drunkard. Now, mind you, a drunkard, if they don't get their drinks, they can go into like, withdrawal. And this withdrawal is so crazy, they start getting cold sweats. Like, they'll end up in a hospital if they don't have certain things, you know what I mean? Like, and some people know how to work with these type of people, you know what I mean? Like, some people got fixed with drugs and stuff. Now, mind you, you're not trying to encourage them to do, what they need to do, but you're like, no, listen, if you can clean up this parking lot for me or something, let's make it basic. If you can clean up this parking lot for me, or you can, you know what I mean, nail up these couple pieces of wood or whatever, clean up the, you know what I mean, clean up the site or whatever, you know what I mean, I'll let you take a swig or two so you can keep it moving, keep it functioning. Not like I'm gonna let you get bodied or none of that type of stuff, but I'm gonna allow you to be able to be functional while, you know what I mean, you're working. You know what I mean? Especially if it's nothing of significance that will hurt or harm you while you're doing a deed. You know what I mean? And then you can get a couple dollars in your pocket. I'm also trying to encourage you, like, you know, you need to slow that down. And obviously you're not going to be doing it like that around anyway. So it's just like you're helping someone help themselves get to a place like, yo, yeah, this person worked with me, and you know what? I cut that fix that I once used to I used to need at all times. Now, like I said, there's carpenters that do this thing all the time. You know what I mean? Drinking on the job and all of these things. That's their twist. That's not me. I don't do that, and I encourage people not to. But it's just a thing that I'm just explaining. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain people that's just like, they're just lazy, or they're just easily, like, you start talking to them and then they can't work. So it's like, yo, let's talk and work together. And then they're like, oh yeah, da, 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 da. Oh yeah, make sure you get this. So you're like kind of like pushing them a little bit to help them do what they need to do. Now, that was just, you know, just a side note of just things that transpire. But when you're going through your seasons, you know, and you're growing, and God's got you out here growing, like, he's going to teach you how to be around people. Like, Jesus was around drunkards, he was around the whores, he was around all of these different people. He ain't looked down on them, but he knew, and he accepted these people, just like you're supposed to accept these people and try to work with them so you can help better them. Because it's like, if you're in their corner trying to encourage them to be greater, they're going to remember that, instead of you in their corner just bashing them like, nah, you can't, nah, this, that, and the third. Oh, you a whiz worth, you ain't worth nothing. Da, 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 you always going to be a bum, blah, 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 blah. Instead of trying to help them out, trying to help them get on the right track, you know, work with them so they can have their own money, feel like they doing something for themselves. You know what I mean? People need that in that life too. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just be, you know, just disrespectful to everybody. Like, a lot of people got a lot of different things going on. And when you're growing with God, like, he shows you that. Like, when you making good money and stuff like that, like, the humbling aspect of it, like, if you're a great boss and stuff like that, like, and you really have a relationship with God, the humbling aspect of things, like, yeah, man, I make a lot of money, man, I'm really smart, man, but I feel for people, you know what I'm saying? Like, God put that heart in me to feel for people, but also my heart ain't weak neither, you know what I mean? You can't pull on these heartstrings like you think. They ain't like that. Like, God went up in the temples, was turning over the tables as well, you feel me? So there's a line, but God's also growing you through the line, through your trials and tribulations and stuff as well. So, you know, things of that nature, it is what it is, you know? So I'm just letting it be known, you know what I mean? Just keep on going, you know what I'm saying? Like, once it gets hard, that's just God just growing you. If you fell here and there, you fell 20 times, just get back up the 21st time and keep on going and striving. So I'm going to leave that one right there. This is Church from Church's Intake. God bless.